I'm Billy, and we're the Young Ambassadors for the Global Campaign for Education.
And we're here in Malawi with ActionAid to see why so many children are missing out on school.
Over half of the children in Malawi don't get to finish a primary education. We heard more about this from some young campaigners who are working for change here in Malawi.
They were talking about how there's a lot of school dropouts due to early marriages and pregnancies.
We were surprised by some of the facts and figures that they gave us, such as in some cases there can be 200 pupils to one teacher.
We spent time in the capital, Lilongwe, meeting children who are living and working on the streets instead of being in school.
I met with Stanwell, who's a 13-year-old boy. His father died when he was younger, so that is one of the reasons that he was on the street. He works on the street to get money to feed himself and his family. He rummages through large piles of rubbish at the side of the road and collecting tiny pieces of scrap metal. And he told me in an average day he earns 200 kwacha, which is less than £1. He took us to his home, and being in his house gave me the opportunity to ask him whether or not he'd want to go to school. It was Stanwell's age that I found really upsetting, that he's only 13 years old and he was even younger when he started working on the streets. The fact that he really wanted to go to school and he just couldn't was upsetting as well.
We went and we visited the street where Alan Afi used to beg on, and there was just kind of rubbish everywhere. There was loads of men there, so it was really intimidating. And Alan Afi explained that she was only 4 when she started to beg on the streets, and to be 4, it just seemed so vulnerable. She worked till some nights 1 o'clock in the morning. It was just shocking. She was really bright and clever girl, and I think she really wanted to get back into school.
Then we travelled to Vantweli village, close to Lake Malawi, and heard from children there about what prevents them from going to school.
The children were split up into groups, and the topic was why children don't go to school. The lack of food was a main issue in most of the groups. The lack of parents was a big one as well.
The main reason that lots of the children didn't have parents was HIV and AIDS. Many of the children had lost their parents, so had to support themselves, and also the fact that they needed to have uniform. Lots of them couldn't afford the uniform or the materials they needed to go to school, and were often sent away when they turned up without a uniform.
So the children were really bright, and it was amazing to see them come up with solutions to solve the problem of why children don't go into school. Felt like there was a hope for the future and that they were going to make a change.
They really understood and appreciated the importance of education, and the majority really wanted to go to school.
We met a girl called Dia who's 11 years old. She started off in school and attended school for the first year. She left school due to not having the uniform and the humiliation of not having the uniform as she had lost her parents.
Dasiya sibuli nizaga sigisi. Amwadzi umundu galima. Tumani masawa kwa bwaji manga tonye. Mukada bira kusugunda zimuni berere.
Even when children did go to school, they faced huge obstacles to succeeding with their education, as we found out when we visited Chikoa Primary School.
Some of the classes were outdoors, and when it rains, the classes that are outdoors have to be dismissed.
The lack of teachers is a main problem in the school, I think, because there was only 8 of them and there was 1,282 pupils.
It's really hard to learn in that environment. You're having to share books and everyone's squashed really close together. It is difficult to understand the teacher.
Wale mbaro tumele ndawe na majagunda ugunde
poveri dali majalambega lonchi foya julu kan klasi mwa.
Laba ndilula bafulika befu.
Klasi akalombi. Apo zisisa akalambi zimbu zetu zile zoyema. Mawangiga. Dadu sa onfadu sa ndirako vamani.
Girls' toilets were pretty disgraceful. It was basically just a room with no door and a hole in it. We finished our trip with an opportunity to find out more about everything we'd seen from Malawi's Deputy Minister for Education.
It was a really good experience to be able to pose some questions to him after gaining some insight into the problems here. And it was good to hear of some of the things that they're doing.
I think the meeting went very well actually, because we kind of got across the point of view that we think more needs to be done in Malawi for education. They need to make it more of a priority.
Visiting Malawi has furthered my interest and enthusiasm as well as my understanding on the issue of education. I also intend to follow the stories of some of the children I've met here in Malawi, particularly children who have absolutely nothing but whose only wish is to go to school, and for so many of them this may never happen.
I've learnt a lot over this short time, and we've seen so many things and met so many people, and all the stories will stay with me, I think, for the rest of my life. I've never experienced anything quite like Malawi and the poverty in Malawi and how education is such a massive problem out here.